this is the OpenCart software up here. So you can see it's just a default installation at the moment. Administrate, this is the root URL. Yours could be myshop.com. The important thing is that you type in /admin to get to the admin area. So we're going to log in here. So changes you make in this back end will affect how things appear in the front end. Before I go into the details of how to add products, the first thing you're going to want to know is how am I going to take payment for the products that I add. So an important thing is to go into payments within extensions, decide which payment extension you want to pay with. A lot of people are going to want to pay with PayPal, and you install. This one's already installed, so you can edit here. The important thing to look out for is to make sure you've entered in your email address that you use to set up your PayPal, and that if you have a PDT token, you install that here as well. That's added security. But there are other things you can authorize here, but for the main thing is make sure that your PayPal is integrated here, because otherwise you won't be able to take payment. Other payment extensions exist, so you may want to consider taking payment with something else, but you choose whatever you want really. The next thing is to make sure that your shipping has been set up. So for the moment it's done flat rate, so you can edit the details of the way that you do it. So I might want to have UK shipping as an option and have a set cost. But there are other ways you can do it, so you can integrate directly with Parcelforce, for example. So if I was to edit this, you can see that the rate codes are here. So you've got weight and then cost. So 12 is £20. But anyway, that's beyond the point. So let's go on to how to configure the site from a perspective of adding categories and products. So let's say you want to add a download that's going to be associated with a product. You go to the download section and you can insert. I'm showing you this first because this ties into categories and into products. So you tell the download name and you can choose a file. So I'm going to choose my Christmas list. So you might want to add this on every single file, so I'm going to save this. So now this download can be added to products and categories. So let's say you uploaded a product and you wanted to have a downloadable guide alongside it. This is the way that you would do that. So these lists can be set to anything. So first, you're going to want to add a category for your product. So these are the default categories that come with the installation, but let's imagine we deleted all these. To insert a category, you click Insert. And you set your category name info here, keywords, description. It's important that you fill these out so that you can be indexed on Google properly. Think about what you use for these words. Don't just use anything. Try to think, what are people going to actually search for? That's the same with your description. So you want to fill this with information about your product. Use loads of words, higher chance of the product being indexed. And data here, look, you can select parent category. So you might decide that this category that you're adding is going to go within components. It's going to be default store, and then any SEO keywords go here. You can add an image. I'm not going to. And then you set whether the category is enabled or not. Sort order is just if you want things to appear in different orders. It will order by default via the sort order. So let's say I wanted this to appear at the bottom. I'll type in a high number here. So let's save that, and you can see there your component category has gone in there. When you update it on the store, you see that within components, there it is. And at the moment there are no products within that. So let's add a product now. Actually, let's add a manufacturer. So let's say you've got a load of products that you're going to want to be with my manufacturer. So let's say you've got my menu here, some details, and then when you create products, you can create them within that manufacturer. So let's go to products. You can see a big old list of them here, and you go insert. Same old thing really. Enter in the product name. Again, be careful about what you think of in terms of your keywords. Product tags are interesting for being listed properly. Data, you can set things like model numbers, minimum quantity that you want ordered, maximum quantity, what tax, price, whether it requires shipping costs, any SEO keywords and image associated with it, what dimensions the product comes in, links. These are basically links to other products within your site, so you can set these up and have related products alongside them as well. It's quite handy. But interestingly here you can see that we set up the manufacturer earlier. There's a manufacturer there. There are further options you can add here. They're just things that people can essentially select, but let's not go into that. You can add discounts to your pricings here, so you might decide that you've got a customer grouping, and we'll talk about that in a minute. You might decide that if they order a certain amount that they get a certain price, and then there's a time limit on your offers. Same thing with specials really. And this here is where you add multiple images to your product. So you might have 4, 5 or 6 images you want to add. You just click add image, you click on the image, and then you can select where within your image folder what images you want to use, or you can click here to upload one. So that's the main thing really to adding a product. The other thing to realise is that you have customers on your site, so you've got users that can sign up when they use the system, and you can see that within here. So you can add users yourself, but they actually register. So you can see here that, but you can also add other administrators who can edit this back end, which is interesting. Another thing to consider is that you can have user groups. I showed you earlier about having the groups that apply to having different prices and stuff like that. Well, here you can set the different users and what they're able to do. But if you're unsure of what you're doing, just keep things as they are. So there are other things you can do, like edit information about what countries you'll ship to, what currencies you support, interesting things about stock. So these are the statuses of stock you can have. So let's say you have a product that you know is going to be in within a few days. You can set it so it's going to be there within 2 to 3 days. So let's have a look at products here. Let's edit this one. You can set the stock status here. So let's say it was out of stock, it would then be out of stock. So I know this product's going to be in within 2 to 3 days, so we set that and then click save, and then on the site it will be updated. The next thing to realise is that once you get your site set up and once you're able to click payment, you're going to want to be able to actually process orders. I suppose within your PayPal you'll see what orders have been made, but you can also see within sales orders that have come in and what customers you've got on the system and the customer groupings on the system. Here you can set coupon codes, so you can associate a product to a coupon code and then they get some sort of discount. But the important thing is orders. So if you come into here you can see what orders have been made. Clearly at the moment this is just in test mode, so there are no orders, so I can't really go into it into much more depth, but it gives you a good idea. The next thing is, let's say you hit a roadblock. There is documentation. So on the OpenCart site you can go into documentation, you can see information about extensions, tweaks and all this sort of thing. If you really wanted to, you could buy a book on it. But the interesting thing is there is a support community. So if you go to the community forums, you've got an array of questions, answers, bug support and all this sort of thing. So if you have any questions, it's really good to air them on this forum and people can answer them. So I recommend joining this, really recommend joining this. But yeah, so that is sort of a high level overview of OpenCart and how to get going with it if you've never really used it before and you know you just got it installed and want to know what to do next really. So if you're wanting any OpenCart shops set up, then we offer that service. There's scorchsoft.com website development, website design and web application development. So if you like OpenCart and you want a host to put it on there and set up so you can use it, visit the site, send us an email and we'll see what we can do.